You have to be careful about making a weird show or watching a weird show.
Hello, this is Greg Smalley on Pod 366, the Weird Movies podcast, joined today by the naughty Giles Edwards to my right, while he is apparently frozen. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Okay, how are you, Giles? Anything?
Well, my internet connection is unstable, but I am happy to be here.
And you are unstable as well, so
Hey,
it's matched.
yeah, sure.
Um, so, all right, up top news. Wanted to announce next week we will have a guest. It will be Evan Marlowe of Abruptio, the puppet movie that we are going to talk about later in the show, and of course talk more extensively about with him next week. And the other item here that was supposed to be a surprise for Giles, but he actually already knows about it, is that today is our official Naughty or Nice episode. We're going to describe or define each movie that we cover this week, of the 10 movies we cover this week, as either naughty or nice. And Giles, please remember, naughty is what we're going for. We want naughty. Nice means you're not as interested in seeing it, most likely.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
All right. So that's how naughty or nice game is played. So let's bring up our smorgasbord. See if I can bring that up. I don't think that's quite what I wanted. Sorry.
No, that is a good
That was a
snapshot,
nice,
though.
nice looking whatever it was. Um, this is what I wanted. I wanted all of them up at once, but of course we are having the usual technical difficulties. Let me see what I can do. I can't. Let's get them all up at once. This is how I like to have it to start off. The whole menu there.
Look at that.
The whole menu.
11 neato images.
Either naughty or nice. Yes, some naughty, some nice, hopefully more naughty than nice. We're going to start out with this one because there is a time constraint attached to this. So,
That is true. This is
Giles, would you
yes.
like to describe this still we're looking at?
Can do. All right. We look like, as we can judge from the periphery here, we're in a kind of creepy looking forest thing. And in this forest, dominating our view of it is a stage. But I'm going to take a moment to describe a figure, a dominant figure off to the left-hand side that seems to be looking at us while we are probably looking at the stage. A sort of mannequin or doll's head that has shown a lot of wear and tear for its age, either badly applied brown paint or everything else has been scraped off surrounding it. So that is an aged, creepy facsimile of a human head there. But center, we've got this stage. It looks like an oversaturated red curtain with some gilded adornments. And on this stage, I'm guessing are four-ish things. The smallest of which is an item off to the left-hand side of this stage. And that is either some sort of, I don't know, maybe a mechanical or wind-up mechanism. Looks like there's possibly a propeller thing going on there. Or alternately, it is a vertically flying bug of some sort with big red eyes. All told, that's not terribly clear. Also, somewhat more clear, but not terribly, is what's dominating the stage and just the immediate background of it behind the two front figures is a large, smiling, skull-like face with empty eye sockets, full nose, mind you, some jagged teeth, a bright, enticing tongue, I guess. And on the head of this, well, on this thing's head, which is all we can see of it, is some sort of headband or some sort of adornment, or it might, I guess, be more curtain work as it goes back with some more gilded effects, sort of like fan-like blades arranged in an arc on either side. And above these blades are two sort of, soap bubble looking orbs that have items in them that I really wouldn't want to hazard to describe. Although I guess in the case of the left hand one, it might be a flamingo colored owl. I can't say. But flanking this giant, smiley, happy face with pointy teeth are the torsos and heads of two brunette women done up in a woman as doll or doll as woman style. And only one of these two has any arms attached to their torsos. They are cut off around just above, just below the hip level as they rest on the stage, slightly in front of this massive face. Although the dangly things from the face seem to be uh, closer to the viewer than they are. So dimensions here aren't entirely reliable. That said, it all kind of works for me in a Boschian way, in that these are somewhat everyday things done up to look pretty nightmarishly.
All right, Giles. Okay. This is a scene from what?
The movie Bradlee, which is currently an Indiegogo project.
Yes, and it's coming up soon. Do you have the date that it closes up?
Let's see. Today is the day before people are watching this, and today there are 4 days left, so it looks like it closes up Sunday night sometime. I'd reckon.
Yes,
So just the weekend ahead to throw some more money at this intriguing looking project brought to our attention, I believe, by Richard Bergen, friend of the show.
that is actually, yes, he is the executive producer and appears to be running the Kickstarter. He's run several Kickstarters before. The director, of course, is an entirely different individual. Did you watch the
The promotional video?
promotional video? Yeah.
Yes, I did. Zach Ferguson, he's the director. I'm gonna also guess he's writer, editor, and production. Yeah, I bet this is very much his baby, as he makes clear in his entreaty, which is accompanied by a lot of neat, fun, interesting, creepy-looking stuff that, if only because of the jaggedness and coarseness and the what's-itness of it, did remind me a bit of Begotten with a lot of the visual style, at least for the possibly protagonist with the sackcloth face.
Yeah, and he is also the star, as you can tell by matching the tattoos from his
Oh, okay.
appearances to the tattoos on the Bradlee character, who is a sort of a masked, sort of a Jason-esque slash Michael Myers guy. The log line, I think, could use some work for this. It's a surreal and nightmarish journey through the mind of a serial killer, which is kind of a log line that's a dime a dozen. I think the visuals look much more promising
Yeah.
than that does. Zach describes his own work here. He's done short films before. You can find his YouTube channel, and I will give you the name of that in a moment, but he calls it, his style, madcap, seizure-inducing, hallucinatory, nightmarish, and experimental, the short films he's done before, some of which are quite long, 40 minutes or so. So features not too much of a stretch for him. His YouTube handle for his work is Sweat Drenched Productions. Sweat Drenched Productions. You can find all of his movies with director's commentaries and also a number of other small bits related to Bradlee. An announcement, there's some other promotional material there that's not on the video we're going to be linked. And he is from Britain, Brighton specifically, I believe, and like Richard Bergen, he is autistic, so it is a sort of autistic filmmaker movement. Autistic surrealist filmmaker movement, maybe? That we
Yeah.
got going here, which is kind of cool. So let me resume the share with that. Before we go to the next one, which I'm also going to cut out that share. I had to do some work in the background, so I had to stop sharing, but it's another technical episode. Wait, one more thing.
Oh,
Giles,
well,
Bradlee, naughty or nice?
judging from the screenshot, the remarks from the director, and the footage provided, I'm saying this looks naughty with the promise of being very naughty.
Yes. This is a very naughty still. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we're going to go with naughty. Of course, it hasn't been made yet, so we hope it doesn't end up being too nice. But it looks like it's going to be naughty.
Yeah. Immediately signed up for the Hallmark Channel, I'm sure.
I ought to say one more thing about it. The campaign ends on the 15th. They did meet their goal, which was extremely modest, $1,000. They have almost $2,000, but the more money they get, the better it's going to be. And it is promised or expected to be out about February.
Mm.
We'll have the video promo up on our channel. Now we're going to go to this one. Giles, you want to just describe this real quick, and then we're going to do something else with this.
Yeah, this is a real quick one to describe. We're looking at the interior of a fireplace. We don't see the front piece. We just see the breeze blocks in the back. We see the grate. We see the logs stacked. We see flames coming up in a manner that doesn't look terribly realistic. So I'm wondering if this is a gas fireplace or otherwise artificial, but it does look cozy regardless.
And there's a logo at the bottom right,
Yes, there is. It in brackets,
which gives.
lowercase letters. It advises Adult Swim.
So this is Giles.
Yule log tiding to
It
Yule
is
Swim Yule Log 2, Branchin Out.
Adult Swim, Yule Log 2, Branching Out. Now, Giles, I think you never saw. Did you ever
I,
get around to seeing the original?
I did not, although I guess with the season coming up again, could make for a good double feature.
It's free, man. I got to tell
And
you.
it's free.
I think it's still free. It might have not. They might have changed that. It is the original dropped in 2022 with no advance notice. It's a movie that starts as one of those traditional Yule log videos that you watch where you just watch a crackling log with some holiday music playing on it. Adult Swim put it on with no advance warning. People tuned in, watched it as they were watching the Yule log. Some voices started to talk in the background, and then other things started to happen. Very weird things. And so now, again, without any advance notice, they have dropped a sequel, which is free to watch on Adult Swim's channel. And we're actually, Giles, I think, let's try to see if we can sample some of it ourselves. See what it's like. I don't know if you can at home hear the music, but there is holiday music playing.
Yep, some really nice muzak, Yuletide muzak.
And this is what you get when you watch this. So it's very, very weird just to sit here and watch a log and let your mind go. And this is pretty much all that happens for 90 minutes.
Oh yes, yep. Click, yeah. Skipping ahead there as I see you scanning. Just log, log, log.
Perhaps not. Perhaps more will happen. But
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
enough of that. I know that this type of video doesn't come across very well by Zoom, but I think you get the idea. Don't know much about the plot of this. We do know that the final girl survivor from the original Yule log returns in this one, and the Yule log also returns. And given that it's from Casper Kelly, who you guys should know from his hit short Too Many Cooks. Have you seen Too Many Cooks, Giles?
I haven't seen
Oh
that
my
either.
goodness.
I've been very naughty. Yes.
You've been very naughty. It's going to be weird, so.
Yeah, it's kind of intrigued here looking at the IMDb page. It's rated 7.2 out of 10 compared to the original's lowly 6.3 out of 10, but well, that can be chalked up to any number of things.
That's early adopters is what that is. Only people who are interested in seeing it have jumped in. Yeah, so I'm excited for it. There's absolutely zero chance Casper Kelly will not be naughty.
That's sounds good enough for me.
So you're gonna vote naughty as well, I suppose.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need I
It's
need you to say it,
give
Scott.
it the benefit of the doubt for naughty.
I need to hear you say it.
Naughty. Well, this is naughty.
Here's our third movie that we're going to be discussing. Try to do this still some justice if you can there, Giles.
Presuming this is actually from something recorded, I'm guessing they're using a thermal camera or alongside a thermal camera, a lot of post-production, shall we say, simplification of the scene here. This might be, you know, early Picasso doing a deadbeat apartment kind of thing, if a little more structured than that famed Spanish artist used to do. This is a fella, looks like he's lighting a cigarette. He's wearing his pajamas, sitting on a bed. There's a dog sleeping nearby. You can see a little vanity mirror, desk lamp, window either outside or it's a mirror. Hard to say considering the color scheme and visual coarseness of the image. So all told, this looks very nighttime sketch drawing meets photo like here. So if this is an aesthetic that is kept throughout the motion picture, that alone will make it rather naughty.
Well, of course, it's not kept throughout the.
No.
It's a manipulated image, and so do you know what it's from, Giles?
Yes, it's from something that did not upgrade their security certificate online.
I
The
think
film
that's
is
fixed now, but maybe not.
it wasn't when I looked 5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Or anyway, It's Not Me by Leos Carax.
Yeah, and it's from Janus Film, so it's not a shady site. It's Janus.
No, just
So if you do get that security warning, just ignore it and go ahead and visit the site. It's Janus Films, whose sister company to Criterion, who does usually more theatrical distribution, although they do also do some DVDs or Blu-rays, as we will discover. The movie is It's Not Me from Leos Carax. It has played festivals. It is what it is he takes his own movies, 40 minutes of movies like Lovers on the Bridge, Holy Motors, and Annette, which I believe Giles has at least seen Annette.
oh yeah, yep.
Places them to some Sparks music, occasionally at least. And I know Giles is a fan of Sparks. And he sort of manipulates each image and talks over it. And it's all sort of a tribute to what Jean-Luc Godard did late in his career, where he would do these film essays where he would take other images and manipulate them and talk over them, only it's kind of autobiographical from Leos Carax. And I will say it is only 42 minutes long. It's playing in some theater somewhere, probably not near you, or you can rent it on VOD. Now, I'm going to have to say they're charging like $20 to rent it on VOD, a 42-minute movie. So there's that. You got to be a really big Leos Carax fan to rent this less than 42-minute movie for more than the price you'd pay for a theatrical ticket. But the price surely will come down and it will show up in some other format. We're probably going to wait on watching this, unless somebody wants to give us a free screener.
Man, we're always open for free. Well,
So,
I'll stop myself there.
by
From
the way,
Jonas, we're always open for free screeners.
did you see the trailer?
No, I did not.
Okay.
How long is the trailer compared to the movie?
Trailer is probably about 5% of the movie. No, it's a minute or two trailer. Very similar sort of experimental nonsense to Bradlee, only obviously done with a lot more money. And
All old material.
and Sparks
Rewashed. And
Sparks
Sparks.
songs.
That's why the $20. Those guys really need they live off those massive royalty checks.
Yeah, maybe it's all. Yeah, maybe it's all. So it's not me, Leos Carax. We're probably going to wait to see how we can see this a little bit cheaper. But the verdict, Giles, naughty or not?
I mean, it's the source material definitely naughty as to what Mr. Carax does with it. If presuming he's not self-aggrandizing too much and doesn't veer too heavily into the French love of socio-political commentary, I think this could be a solidly naughty 42 minutes, but there is a risk of some nice.
Okay. I am going to be the contrarian on this one. I'm going to declare that I think it's going to be nice. I think the images themselves are going to be weird and very naughty, as we can see. However, I think taken as a whole, this sounds like the kind of project that is going to veer towards the over serious and the perhaps pretentious, perhaps.
Oh, I think there is a real risk of that. Yes, you've said roughly what I thought, not couched in my oblique diplomatic language.
But there is a certainly chance that it's going to be naughty. It does seem like very much to me, like a tribute to late Jean-Luc Godard.
Yeah, and he is who he is, and he's brought us Holy Motors and Annette, which are, so that is more than something.
Yeah, and Leos Carax is. It will certainly be interesting, but I'm going to say it's going to be interesting in a mildly nice way. Next up, one that we've discussed many times before. Finally, this one is coming to Blu-ray, which is why we're discussing it once more. I think we've even used this still before, Giles. Have you seen this still before?
I don't remember it.
Okay, maybe we haven't used it.
I've looked at a lot of stills over the years now. So.
Yeah. Well, describe what you see.
Well, I'll start with the top because that catches my eye right from the get-go. Is this suggests maybe a large institutional building whipped up over a century ago, I would say, with a really cool semicircular window there with looks like thick bars, and you can see beyond this window to a matching area across the way. So it looks like this might be in a passageway in an arch kind of thing. All told, definitely screams that this is somehow within a large structure. But the the item of particular interest is a black receptacle. Looks like it's filled to the top with liquid. It's about the length of a person, which is good because it looks like it's holding one. It's a young woman, I would guess somewhere around maybe somewhere between early 20s to early 30s. And hair done up rather nicely, although I can only presume the ponytail is getting wet there, and she's lying flat with a very passive expression on her face. She's wearing a about skin tightish, latexy kind of black thing that exposes the neck, a little cleavage there, and her hands are we can see those, but the rest of her seems to be clad in this black clingy material as she lies in this vat in front of this window looking at another set of windows.
Yes, and the woman is Léa Seydoux, and the movie, Joe?
Is it the no? This I don't know.
It is The Beast.
The Beast. Okay.
The Beast, not which you not want to watch because it wasn't a remake of Walric Borowczyk. I can't pronounce his name.
That guy's classic, yes.
Bestiality movie, but instead is a very loose adaptation of a Henry James story called The Beast in the Jungle that ends up having really nothing to do with Henry James's novel, very little to do with the novel. It is instead a time travel story about using past life regression to revisit romances throughout the ages. These two characters, Leia and her lover, have stories told in Belle Epoque France, in the United States around contemporary time, and in the deep future. And some of it does indeed get quite weird from Bertrand Bonello. I reviewed it back when it came out on VOD. Now it's on Blu-ray from Janus, so you can own it. The Blu-ray does not offer anything really special. It's just a one interview with Bertrand Bonello, who is a director I think has a really weird film in him somewhere. If he keeps getting, he seems to be getting weirder and weirder as he goes through his career. So I think hopefully his next movie will break through. However, I'm going to have to declare, although there are certainly weird elements in The Beast, I'm going to have to say ultimately it's more of a nice movie. The first story, the story set in France, is more of a period piece with at least one startling image. The second story is more of a suspense thriller. It gets a little weird. The weirdest part is in the dystopian future, but overall it's kind of aimed at art house patrons who are a little more adventurous, and it's kind of a nice movie with naughty elements.
Yeah.
Giles?
I mean, I haven't seen it, but that sounds like a good sum up looking at some of Monsieur Bonello's back catalog. He definitely has a kind of anarchist streak that shows up in his earlier work that can be something to harness for strange and exciting in the future. So, as always, I'll keep my fingers crossed that he makes naughty movies further down the line.
But your verdict on this one, I have to.
Oh, I mean, judging from the image, because is and your review, I will defer to your relative authority. This is an odd image, but Belle Epoque Paris, you gotta be really trying to make that weird and dystopian future. That's not to say that there isn't anything incredibly naughty about 2014 LA.
Giles, you have to say it.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna see nice.
Nice. Huh?
I'm gonna go for nice. This is
Okay.
fine.
I thought you were going to go for Nice because.
Yeah. Or
All
nice.
right. Probably we'll have to take a break after doing this one because we are running late on today's show. But here, describe what you see, this poster you see here, Giles.
All right. This is a movie poster, and I'm gonna read the top bit of text because I love it. In cinemas worldwide, one night only, so your excitement is increased from the get-go. It's a black poster with a whole bunch of names written in tiny text along, the bottom flanking the title of this film. It's all kinds of spacey, zoomy, speed stuff. There might be some lasering going on. There seems to be a giant orb that might be Earth. It's hard to say. A lot of lights beyond the lights, ringed planets, and dominating the center of the image is like this cool neon yellow arrow flying V guitar looking thing.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
And the title is on there, so you can.
It is the title.
A rather long title.
Well, Interstella 5555. The
Well,
story of the secret star system.
And that's not the entirety of the title because
Oh, no?
Daft Punk, the
Oh, excuse me,
whole
yes.
thing is Daft Punk and Leiji Matsumoto's Interstella 555, the story of the secret.
Yeah, okay. They've replaced all the S's with fives in story, secret, star, and system. So
Which threw me. If you go to the official website, they have the trailer to this running. It is So I'm not that familiar with the band Daft Punk. I've heard of them. I think they have kind of a cult following. I think they're kind of. Do you know Daft Punk?
a little bit. Yeah, they're certainly talented. They're talented individuals. One of their neat things was they kept kind of incognito for the bulk of the group's existence. I think they may have retired by now, and definitely a hot item. It's basically musicians like, the top people in the game would be really thrilled to work with this group. A lot of electronic produced music that's often very exciting and, beat driven and
Yeah.
highly danceable.
Yeah, I thought it was more dance music. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they've kept their identities hidden, and here they're portrayed as anime cartoon characters. And the plot of this is, no, how did I say? They're an alien band. They're abducted and forced to perform for Earthlings, and it's a visual album of their songs, but it is given a narrative, and it's all done anime style by Leiji Matsumoto, who I'm not familiar with any of his other work, but you can tell it's pretty high quality animation, as you'll see at the official site or the trailer, which we will embed. The one night only thing was for what would be tonight as we record this, and yesterday as you listen to this. However, visiting their official website, I found screenings on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. So it seems like the one night only thing was a lie.
I guess, yeah, or, well, certainly a lie, an untruth.
I don't know.
Um,
Giles, can you don't have their official site up?
oh, for this movie?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Go to tickets and see if you can find
Get
screenings.
tickets. All right, here we go. Load, load, load. Hey, that's hey, it's showing near me. And it's showing the 12th and 14th near me.
Oh, only the 12th and 14th?
Yeah, so limited to be sure.
But not one, still not one night only. And
Still
the
not one night only.
14th is tomorrow, and so you could technically catch it. So it
That's
was
right.
a little bit of a white lie, I'd say.
Yeah, well, part of the hype, this whole thing, I mean, one night only, that kind of
Yes. Any
something.
thoughts, Giles, in the last minute before we take a intermission break here?
I'm gonna pin this as naughty because I get very excited about bright colors and fast moving stuff to music. So my mind will probably be nicely zapped were I to take this thing in, and that can lead me to saying, yeah, let's apocryphize it.
I think it's going to be naughty as well. And on that, I guess we will pause and resume for the second half of our special naughty or nice edition of Pod 366, a Weird Movies podcast. Be back in just a second. Hello, we're back with our naughty or nice episode of Pod 366. Let me put the movies back up. We just left off discussing that one. We're going to discuss this one now, a very important one. Giles, would you like to describe the cover we see here?
Yes, it's a Blu-ray cover, amber to glowing orange tones for a large ominous hand that is extending forward in a purposeful manner with little strings coming from all four fingers and thumb descending down upon these kind of silhouette styled marionette looking figures below as they dance perhaps along atop this orange glow illuminated space with the title of the film done in a classic creature feature kind of font.
And what is the title of the film?
The title is Abruptio with the tagline on the top, everyone's a puppet.
And you, Giles, have seen this one.
I have, and
So
quite enjoyed it.
I'm going to defer to you to describe what it is.
This is a basically a melodrama that gets that turns into a sort of grindhouse violence feature rather quickly before returning to sort of melodrama roots about or form about a kind of no-name office schlub guy who really doesn't have much purpose in life, doesn't really have any friends. He lives with his mom. He's always seems to be always on the cusp of breaking up with his girlfriend or vice versa. And he wakes up one morning noticing a scar on the back of his head and or back of his neck, and it manages to get convinced that there's a bomb there that is not at all under his control. And he suspects that unless he continues to follow the very dark, violent directions from a an anonymous texter, that that bomb may be activated. So he goes through many, many grisly tasks in his very low-key acting effort to survive. He's got I guess, a commendably resigned attitude about everything that is thrown at him in this movie.
His face isn't very expressive.
No, that certainly helps the muted reactions in question. Because yes, he is a puppet, everyone else is a puppet, and they do all kinds of things that if we didn't have that sort of disconnect, I could see even, an unrated version of this having some difficulty finding distribution because it gets rather nasty at times.
Ooh, okay. So, it is now on Blu-ray and VOD. Giles saw it on a screener when it was it in festivals, I think.
I think it was in festivals,
I don't
and
think it ever had a proper theatrical release, which is
yeah,
disappointing.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think I remember one of those nice personalized ones where I got to see my name every now and again splashed across.
Okay. But now it's on Blu-ray and VOD, so everybody has a chance to see it. And everybody should tune in next week. Reminder when we'll be interviewing the director of Abruptio, Evan Marlowe. The Blu-ray, if you want the Blu-ray as opposed to just going with VOD, you will get interviews with the performers and filmmakers and two separate audio commentary tracks, one with director Evan Marlowe and producer Carrie Marlowe, who one suspects is related. And then a second audio commentary with puppeteer Danny Montooth, who I presume would be the main chief puppeteer on this.
And it's worth mentioning also that Jordan Peele lends his voice to one of the characters in this as perhaps the biggest name I observed in the credits array. So this project obviously was something he was keen to be involved with.
Sid Haig also in it
Oh yeah.
in his final film role.
Oh well, that's a good
And
one.
Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger himself.
So
So,
yeah, an interesting yeah.
so not having seen it, I'm going to say this is naughty as hell.
Oh, it is quite naughty, yes.
Okay, that's
Oh, and Rich Fulcher shows up. I forgot about yeah, he has a small yep.
I.
This is
Who's that? I don't know who that is.
oh, Richard Fulcher. He was one half of the Mighty Boosh, and he showed up in
Oh,
a.
okay. I do
He's a
know.
very strange performer,
Okay,
comedian,
I
actor.
know who he is then. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to the next one. A very actually famous image that Giles will describe, and hopefully people will recognize it from his description.
All right. I'm having difficulty whether or not this is seaside or poolside, but regardless, there is a jolly chain of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can see 11 people clasping hand in hand as it looks like they are mid-motion in a merry jaunt around what looks like it would probably expand to a very large circular thing, or they might just be passing right to left. It looks like a kind of dusk scene. There's a artificial illumination, various lamp style things arrayed on the base that they're dancing, walking along near the water side, and various spotlights in the background. And so lively and all kinds of different poolside people you might see. There's white suit guy, there's maid woman, there's white clad bourgeois looking female as well, fellow in towel, a guy who looks like he's, a valet or otherwise hotel employee. But of course, I bet the main point of attraction is the slim, very dapperly dressed gentleman, sort of in the center with some spectacles and a fedora, beautiful black suit. And I believe that is the actor's stand-in typically for the director of this film in question.
All of that is correct, but I'll point out a couple other things. You might mislead people by suggesting it's on the water. That's just dirt. It looks like I
Oh, is that?
tell you
Oh,
that
okay.
it looks like water, but it's not water. It's just dirt. So that shouldn't fool people off. And the dapper fellow is carrying a bullhorn.
Ah, yes.
Definitely stage lights.
Yeah.
And so this is an image from the finale of
8.5.
8.5, 8.5, in 8.5 in the decimal system, which is, of course, something that we've seen, we've covered extensively. I've covered it extensively, at least, and I've seen it many times. One of my absolute favorite films, Fellini's 8.5. It is mentioned today because Criterion is upgrading it to 4K UHD. Of course, nothing else new about it except for that new format. All the features would be the same as what you had on your previous numerous 8.5 releases from them. And of course, a Blu-ray is included for the UHD impaired.
But UHD is going to be key to see Marcello Mastroianni's beautiful mane of hair, fiber by fiber, and you can just sit there and relish its grandeur as you count the strands.
Okay, Giles, I hate to ask you, but have you seen 8.5?
I actually haven't. I've seen two Fellini movies. One is City of Women, and the other is Satyricon.
You don't go for the biggest ones, but
I think, yeah, Satyricon was
Syricon's a big one, but
yeah, that was I saw that at a VHS rental place back when I was like 17 or 18 and thought, oh, this looks weird, and it was. And City of Women, I remember, I think that was coming up for canonization, and I thought, well, I haven't really seen much of this guy. City of Women seems a good place to go, and I certainly enjoyed that movie.
well, this is where Fellini breaks from his and completely breaks from his neorealist thing and starts doing surrealism. So a lot of it is kind of in a classical form, but there are many dreamlike sequences that intrude.
I have seen the famous one where he's talking to his various imagined mistresses,
Yeah.
or his historical mistresses all gathered together in one domicile.
Yes. Yes, the harem scene is
Yeah.
called. Yeah. So very weird. And of course, the opening is a classic little bit of a dream on film that ends up with Mastroianni being flown like a kite above the Roman coastline. And the finale you saw there is just a bit of the whole cast coming out and doing a dance, which is an inconclusive way to end the movie, and yet it's absolutely perfect
Fitting.
given the way it's set up.
Yeah.
And one of the great endings in film history. And so, Giles, 8.5, naughty or nice?
Oh, that's going to be the nicest kind of naughty.
It's a naughty film. I'll say it's definitely, it wouldn't have made our list if it's not naughty. So it's a naughty film, but it's a naughty film that nice people can enjoy.
Yes, it's yeah, it seems very well for a certain type of crossover appeal. This isn't going to weird anyone out, but it is weird.
Not too much, yeah. All right. Maybe that's a nice Christmas present for the Fellini fan who has a 4K UHK player and does not have the Fellini box set. So, next up, Giles, describe this 4K cover.
Sure thing. This is a picture of a fella's head, although the distributor logo does cut him off at the chin. Got a salt and pepper to grayish mop top kind of hairstyle, bushyish eyebrows of matching colors. So this is an older gentleman, as also evidenced by the rings under the eyes and this that sort of pinkish bloodshot around the periphery there. So he's seen a lot, lived a lot, or as it were, deep dark eyes, um, and somewhat incongruous looking, almost at least from the graininess of this photo and its transfer onto the glossiness of what I imagine the packaging is, has rendered the pointed teeth protruding from below the upper lip as almost kind of drawn on afterthoughts. But there is something different about this fellow's canines.
They're very prominent, yes. And then the title is there too.
Yes, and a nice sort of 60s meets Art Deco-y thing, Requiem for a Vampire.
Oh, and a description too. This, of course, is from Jean Rollin. It's from Indicator, who has been re-releasing these Jean Rollin films in new editions, 4K upgrades with new special features. They describe this as his 1972 erotic fantasy, which is certainly true, but there's a lot more to it than that. The way I would describe it is it's a movie that starts out with two lesbian vampires fleeing from a bank robbery and then running into a vampire who kidnaps them and puts them into a dungeon where he chains them up and gives them the vagina bat torture. That is the movie. It is a movie that starts out as a very strange, surreal art film, and then about a third of the way through changes into a wild exploitation movie. It's probably one of Rollin's most commercial movies, despite starting out as a art film. So you get both sides of Rollin on this one. And so it's a truly wild ride. It's one I would recommend maybe as a good starting point to get into Rollin. Released in America as Caged Virgins, which is a great exploitation title and also accurately describes part of the movie. Giles, any thoughts about Requiem for a Vampire? You may have seen clips from it.
Oh, I almost certainly have. Yeah, because I did see that wonderful Roland documentary 2 Fantasias ago, which had a very good overview. This, I'm going to say, is definitely falls squarely into naughty. I'm intrigued at the English dub for such a thing, as that could quite possibly add another layer of strangeness to the art house into hardcore porn proceedings.
But it's not hardcore porn.
Oh, excuse me, softcore.
Let's not mislead people there.
Sorry, I didn't. I
It's
guess
a lot of nudity and R-rated S&M type stuff.
Okay. I just saw the phrase "vagina bat" in the thing here, and I guess leapt to too many conclusions.
That's me with the vagina bat, but yeah, you don't actually see a vagina. So it is this disc, Indicator always does a lot of good work. So there's 2 versions of the film and some commentary, selected commentary with Roland, and just a bunch of extra features for it. A lot of fun for a movie. This is one I would recommend as definitely naughty and also potential apocrypha down the line. So that's Requiem for a Vampire. Next one. Describe, Giles, if you will.
This is This looks has the dimensions of a Polaroid photograph, something of a 1-to-1 ratio. But I'm probably only thinking Polaroid because the distributor's logo has a lot of overlapping colors with that. So anyway, this is a scene of a woman carrying another woman down a sidewalk. Looks like it's countryside. There's a sort of hill thing going into some, woods and rural fences to the right, and to the left there's a little bit more wood, scraggly tree things, largely obscured by a fog that takes up a good vertical third on the left there. The manner of dress suggests this is a late 70s, early 80s kind of thing. And considering who we were just talking about and the fact that there are two women of a young and similar age on the front, it's suggestions maybe presenting themselves to me that really aren't conveyed in this kind of just drabbish but still eye-catching window into this odd behavior, since we don't normally see one woman carrying another woman down a sidewalk in a semi-rural scene.
Yeah, and you got what about the title and the little description that they
Well, the
distributed?
title is The Escapees, or in French, Les Échappés, from the auteur Jean Rollin, describing this as a dreamlike 1981 feature.
Yeah, it's not much description. I've seen most of Roland's films, not the hardcore porn ones or the ones he did for uh, just strictly for money, but of his own movies. I've never seen this one. It's not one that anybody talks about a lot. All I can say about the plot is two girls escape from a mental institution and drift across the French countryside. The Amazon page gives you just a little more information.
Yeah,
Um,
IMDb has they are taken in by a traveling erotic dance troupe, and frankly, I think we need to see a renewal of that fine
yeah,
tradition.
yes, they escape from an asylum, find themselves drifting through a nightmarish world of burlesque troops, lascivious sailors, and hardened criminals. After a violent confrontation, the police close in. No vampires in this movie, and I have been, for some reason, I've gotten the impression that there is less sex and nudity than usual, and perhaps this is why people do not pay attention to this one as much as the other Jean Rollin films. It's completely sort of, so I don't know anyone who ever mentions this, brings this up when talking about Jean Rollin films.
Yeah, there's a featured review on IMDb from Red Barracuda that seems like it's worth reading,
Okay.
and yeah, so uh,
Okay. Can you summarize at least?
yeah, it's describes it one of the most obscure films, willfully uncommercial, and talks about the textbook idea of two women escaping something and going through these sort of odd experiences. But this individual says it's grounded too much in reality without much of the fantastique that one generally is hoping for from a Roland picture. So suffering, it seems, from a little too much cinema verite
Yeah.
leaning, which is exactly what I wouldn't look for in a Jean Rollin movie.
Yeah, I don't want to say they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, but they have released most of the major Jean Rollin movies already on Indicator. Um, so what's left are, I don't think that there are any highly anticipated Roland titles that they haven't already released. Requiem for a Vampire certainly was one.
Yeah.
There may be some others I haven't
Because
really.
yeah, they've been at it for a few years now, so they have gotten a bunch of his.
But I'm going to say that The Escapees is, by Roland's standards and our standards, a nice movie.
Yeah, I will second that.
Okay. Uh, who knows? We may get to see it down the road sometime, but like I said, I've never heard anybody recommend it. So, next one, also a 4K UHD cover.
All right, style of this is black and white with some gray in between. It's done in that sort of painting ink style, but very obviously based on photographs of the individuals in question. Dominating the frame and taking up, probably two-thirds to three-quarters of it is a young woman. I'm going to guess brunette, while also sort of half remembering brunette. And she is looking kind of forlornly over my left shoulder as I look at this picture with a little bit of something dripping down the her left side of the mouth, smudge there, which of course is very artistically drawing the eye to what else is below there, which is one of which is a head of a slick back graceful middle-aged gentleman who seems to be staring down to his left at something, which I wouldn't put past him, considering the actor in question kind of does what he does and what he wants, and it always works because it's him. And somewhat disappointed myself, not quite remembering who the third and smallest face is of a guy in, somewhat stylish dark sunglasses, with a sort of oh gosh, I used to know the name of that haircut, but clean cut, but a little bit of pompadour leanings there. And he's smoking a cigarette and seems to be looking, if we could see his eyes, be looking at us, but he's like very tiny on this array of heads cascading down, their headshots, excuse me, cascading down the front of this Blu-ray box cover.
I do wonder if that is a man or if that is a
Oh, it's true.
woman with a butch haircut,
That is
which would make sense given that Annabella Sciorra's name is on the cover, uh, and there are three
that.
faces on the cover.
Yeah. Yep. So this, and also, yeah, the name of the people involved. Yep, the names are right there, written in a nice kind of jagged, almost Cabinet of Dr. Caligari kind of, expressionist scrawl there with firm, long lines and, childish, but also a little creepy, as is matching the title of the film, which is the only thing in color on this image, and it's I don't know, a pastel Halloween orange with the words "The Addiction."
Did you mention that or maybe it's a bit of an intentional optical illusion, but there appears to be the shadow of a cross across the
Oh
image?
no, I did not mention that, but the guy behind this movie, yep, he'd have slapped that on there.
He would slap that on there,
He,
yes.
he knows a thing or two about that kind of imagery, Mr. Ferrara.
It's
Yeah.
ultra Catholic exploitation filmmaker Abel Ferrara, probably the only ultra Catholic hardcore porn director,
Yeah,
also,
yeah, no, he is a national treasure.
and a cocaine addict as well.
He has lived a thorough life. He's in his what, late 70s now?
Yeah, now he's
And
turned.
has lived to tell about it and seems coherent enough to continue to make movies.
All right. It is
So,
The Addiction, which of course is a black and white vampire movie using vampirism as a metaphor for drug addiction. You've seen it, Giles?
yeah, years and years ago,
Me too.
I certainly remember it being stylish in an Abel Ferrara kind of way. But I'm trying to look up what year that
Came out in
came out.
1995, I think.
Okay, yeah, because I've seen his a number of his certainly seen his first movie, but beyond that, I've seen King of New York and okay, The Addiction, 1995. Yeah, so basically, yeah, Abel Ferrara around at least the peak of his stylistic form, if not as gritty as work from a decade prior might have been, and so very moody, atmospheric. Interesting, has one of those things where Christopher Walken shows up for one scene, talks for about 5 minutes, and gets, second billing. And, it's always with Christopher Walken, those are always a very worthwhile 5 minutes. But it was his involvement in this movie which caught my eye. I was like, oh, Christopher Walken, second billing. And, I watched it. There's a lot of not Christopher Walken, but there's a lot of great stuff happening elsewise. So,
Lily Taylor is great. She was
yeah.
always, at this period, the mid 90s, she was in a lot of really cool movies. Very distinctive actress. Um, this is kind of the period where Abel Ferrara is sort of, he started adding more art house elements to his exploitation movies. Uh, and now he's kind of getting he's trending much more towards the art house, where he would end up in his later years with movies that had very few exploitation elements at all and were almost entirely art house movies. The movies he did with, and still continues to do with Willem Dafoe,
Hmm.
just pure art house movies without the exploitation with which he started his career. This is a transitional film. I think though it's a vampire film, it definitely airs more towards the art housey feel than
Oh yeah.
the uh, exploitation feel. And for that reason, I'm going to say that The Addiction is a nice movie.
Yep. I'm gonna say it's on the darker side of nice, but nice, yeah.
All right. So we have one more title to cover. This is another release just in time for Christmas, all these hardback physical media releases. This interesting cover, not what you would
Yeah.
expect, Giles.
All right.
Do your best.
This looks like I think it's done up like a textbook. You can see vertical lines along the left-hand side suggest one of those, tape over spine things that you might have for, you're in school, you're getting your school provided book. It's probably in some disrepair, and so that'd be the first place to get taped over. And it's even the same color I remember of the bagging material I would often use to cover books myself, and that may or may not be what's going on. This is one of those kinds of explosion style images here with the title and, cool, funky person, neat kid, font, 3D doodle scrawl, but, crisp red and so on. And the surrounding things exploding alongside this. I see a little drum kit, a pair of pom-poms, one, two, at least two slices of pizza, some great old style headphones. There's an electric guitar. There are a couple bullhorn things. There's another pair of headphones. There's a football helmet. Some more pom-poms. One of those, sort of college freshman-y jackets or like, school jacket things. Seeing a cube chessboard pattern style bow tie in there. It's all just sort of bursting out with an enthusiasm that presumably lives up to the opening 2.5 words of this title.
Okay, and that title is
Rock and Roll High School.
very popular movie. This, I think this may be available in different versions. This is officially the 45th anniversary edition from Shout of Rock and Roll High School. This one we're looking at says 3 disc sets, which I assume is one 4K disc, one Blu-ray of the standard feature, and probably all the other special features stuck on a second Blu-ray. That's my guess as to how those three discs would be divided. You can also, I'm pretty sure, buy just the 4K alone. Not 100% sure. Amazon's page is a little ambiguous on the point. They say it's only 1 disc, while the image says it's 3 discs. So who knows? But this, I don't think, is any different than the version that came out 5 years ago in terms of special
Oh,
features.
the Mirror 40th
The
anniversary?
40th anniversary, which was on Blu-ray. They just have added the 4K UHD to the package, is my belief. I have not seen Rock and Roll High School, shamefully, I guess. Very popular cult movie among our sort of people. Giles, have you seen Rock and Roll High School?
I have not, only looking at Shane Wilson's review from a few years back concerning it, and only sort of recently started checking out the Ramones at all anyway, so I suppose it might be high time now that the movie has been around for 45 years. I could check it out and see some Ramonesing kind of performance stuff, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, what we do know is it's about a rock and roll high school that a girl who is obsessed with the Ramones, and it has a What I would consider a cheesy and annoying theme song that gets stuck in my head that goes rock, 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 rock and roll high school. But Giles probably thinks it's a classic piece of Americana.
I haven't had the pleasure yet, but I'll have to compare your rendition to the original when I
Rock,
check
rock,
that
rock,
out.
rock, rock and roll high school.
It sounds very much of its time, almost like a commercial for, the rock, 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 rock and roll high school playset.
Yeah, going. It's kind of a '50s. It sounds it's done in really a '50s style, although.
Well, yeah, the Ramones are kind of interesting in that regard too, because they're definitely a post-punk aesthetic with a pre-punk tilt in a way. So,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
old rock informed.
but with it's sort of postmodern in that way. Is that they're using sort of singing about quaaludes, but in a generally '50s style of rock and roll music, although more abrasive. So, sort of an update. But getting back to the roots of rock and roll as being very teenager associated. um, anyway, not having seen it, I know that there is a giant mouse in it at least, and a lot of jokes
Oh,
that
yeah.
Shane Wilson says are very labored, uh, but people seem to love the movie. But I'm going to say it's a nice movie.
Yeah, probably nice.
Okay.
PG, If Rock and Roll High School had somehow managed to be R, the
Hmm.
implications of that would be intriguing, especially a late 70s R, but it isn't, so no
It's
matter.
produced by Roger Corman and it has Paul Bartel, and I always love to see Paul Bartel in things. So there's that. All right. So that's our lot. That ends it. But let's go through these, Giles, and do one last time. Nice or say the name of the movie and nice or naughty.
All right, this is Bradlee, naughty.
Bradlee is naughty, hopefully. It's
Uh,
got to be naughty.
this is Yule Log 2,
Branching
naughty.
out.
Branching Out, naughty.
Naughty.
This is Leos Carax. It's gone. It's me. It's him.
It's
It's
not
that.
me, I think.
It's not me. Probably not. Yeah, art house, nice.
Art house, nice. I agree.
The Beast, not the horse one. Nice.
It's nice. It's got some naughty elements, but it's nice.
Daft Punk and Leiji Matsumoto's Interstella 555, the story of the secret star system. That's naughty.
Yeah, we're gonna say that's naughty for sure, and hope that it comes out on VOD and physical media soon after
Mhm.
this event is over.
Abruptio, definitely naughty.
Let's hope it's naughty. I'm gonna watch it soon.
All right. 8.5. Naughty, but in a nice way.
Yeah, that's perfect description. Naughty, but nice people will enjoy it. Both naughty and nice people can enjoy 8.5.
Requiem for a Vampire. I forgot where we landed on this. I'm gonna say pretty naughty,
And
but
I'm gonna say extremely naughty.
okay, good. You know. The Escapees, I'm gonna say unclearly nice.
Probably nice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be discussed more often.
The Addiction, a bit naughty.
Hmm. I'm going to go with nice for the addiction. So at least we disagreed on one.
Yeah, well, I was looking at our fellow reviewer from years ago has put it on the perhaps list, so
I,
I'll give
I,
that a
I was
closer
getting
look.
tired of us agreeing on everything. It
Oh,
seemed
well,
like there's no
well,
dramatic
when
tension.
when we when you work together for so long, Greg, it's
And finally,
Rock and Roll High School, a nice little movie.
that's such a nice movie. Okay. All right. So that was a successful rundown of 11 movies, naughty or nice. Next week we will be back. I'll bring back the hat to talk to Evan Marlowe about his naughty movie Abruptio, the killer puppet. puppet
killer,
serial
deadly
killer
puppet
movie.
thing. Oh man, yeah, it's coming back to me, and yeah, that's got a lot of that going on. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to screening it this weekend. So, all
all right,
right. Thank you all. See you back next week with Evan Marlowe. Everybody take care.
take care, everyone.
Weird. Yeah, I guess that is the word for it. Weird.